In this photo, young Timmy's smile still shines, but it's a fleeting happiness soon to vanish. Stacy, his mother, notices something deeply concerning inside Timmy's tent, prompting a swift response from the police to avert potential disaster. What they uncovered would haunt Stacy indefinitely. Over the past few days, Stacy had been plagued by a sense of unease regarding her son Timmy's stay at camp, though she couldn't pinpoint the cause. However, when Timmy sent her a photo proudly posing in front of his tent, alarm bells rang loudly in Stacy's mind. She scrutinized the image, zooming in to confirm her suspicions, leaving no room for doubt. She became convinced that Timmy was in jeopardy. Failing to reach him, Stacy made the crucial decision to alert the police, desperately hoping they would arrive in time. But what awaited her inside Timmy's tent? Stacy is a young mother who gives her 6-year-old son, Timmy, everything she can. Although she is not very well off financially, she tries not to let Timmy notice this. Stacy is a single mother, as Timmy's father has never really been in the picture. Stacy and Timmy's father dated at a young age, but unfortunately, the love didn't last. When Stacy unexpectedly got pregnant, her boyfriend broke up with her. She knew it would be a lot of work to care for a baby, but she was determined to succeed. She knew she was not going to get any help from her ex-boyfriend and focused on the future with her little one. Nearly 7 years later, Stacy was extremely happy with her son Timmy. She had never regretted keeping him, but their lives weren't always easy. Stacy had been in a difficult financial situation for years, and she could only work when Timmy was at school or sleeping. Fortunately, Timmy was quickly satisfied and did not ask for much. However, there was one thing he had wanted to do for almost 2 years now that he couldn't get out of his head. Timmy really wanted to go on the annual camping trip with his scouting group. Stacy was lucky enough to have Timmy join a state-funded scouting group at no extra cost. Stacy looked at the cost of the camping trip but told Timmy she couldn't promise anything. When Stacy had finally saved enough, she surprised Timmy with this news. Timmy was over the moon, and with Stacy's honesty, it came as a big surprise. The little boy couldn't wait. Timmy promised her that he would have as much fun as possible and send his mother pictures every day. Stacy was thrilled to finally be able to give her son what he'd been asking for so long, but she also hated the fact that they had been separated for 2 weeks. But the time had finally come, and Stacy took her son to the bus that would take the kids to camp. For the first few days that Timmy was at camp, Stacy continued to worry. She couldn't get these thoughts out of her mind despite the pictures Timmy sent her. He seemed to be having the time of his life. Stacy was starting to get annoyed with herself, and she tried her best to adjust her way of thinking for Timmy's good. But then it happened. On the 6th day of Timmy's camp, he sent her a photo. She examined the photo carefully to make sure what she saw. What was she supposed to do now? Stacy could hardly believe what she was seeing, but she knew she had to act immediately. She started to panic, but she had to keep a cool head to make the right decision. Stacy called Timmy's camp several times, but she wasn't able to reach anyone. Stacy didn't have a car of her own, but she was determined to get to her son's camp, especially after she couldn't reach anyone there. It was time to call a friend for help. Timmy probably wasn't the only one in danger. Not long ago, Stacy had befriended a police officer and decided to give him a call. Fortunately, he was more than willing to help. He asked another cop to go with them, and 10 minutes later, they were on Stacy's doorstep. There was no time to lose as Timmy and the other children's lives were at stake. With sirens blaring, the couple rushed to the camp, and Stacy was terrified the entire ride. Nothing could have prepared them for what they would find. The camp was in complete chaos, and both the chaperones and children ran around screaming. It's no wonder no one answered her call. Everyone seemed to panic, and there was no control whatsoever. The supervisors did their best to guide all the children into the central building, but this was not easy. Stacy didn't see Timmy among the children and decided in complete panic to look for him in the building. Once in the central building, Stacy saw a lot of children, some of whom had burst into tears. What was going on here? But the camp leaders didn't have time to give them any information. As Stacy searched the building, she didn't see Timmy anywhere. She thought back to the photo and tried to remember what his tent number was. As she followed the signs to the camp, she soon found out that his tent was at the very back. She ignored everyone she met along the way, even though they yelled at her to go back inside. She must find her son. Then all of a sudden, it was dead quiet, and she didn't see anyone around anymore. Yet, she heard something nearby, a distinct sound. Suddenly, she saw something coming towards her. Stacy couldn't believe her eyes when she saw what was in front of her. Less than 100 yards from her, Stacy saw the back of a large brown bear. He was sniffing and making a growling sound. This had to be the mother bear of the cub she had glimpsed in Timmy's tent. As she reached Timmy's tent, Stacy burst inside, her heart pounding. However, her gaze quickly fell upon an unexpected guest. She felt her strength waver, almost on the verge of passing out, but she steeled herself, knowing that Timmy's safety depended on her actions. To her astonishment, the other occupant of Timmy's tent was none other than the bear cub. The cub had been playing innocently the entire time, blissfully unaware of the unfolding situation. Stacy, well aware of maternal instincts, understood that the mother bear would relentlessly search for her cub until they were reunited. In a hushed tone, she instructed Timmy to remain inside the tent, and then she gently lifted the baby bear in her arms. Carrying the cub, she cautiously stepped outside in search of the mother bear. Out of the corner of her eye, she spotted the massive brown bear. With utmost care, Stacy approached the mother bear and carefully placed the cub on the ground. She retreated slowly, giving a call to alert the mother bear to her cub's presence. Having gained the mother bear's attention, she quickly retreated. The large bear made a beeline for her cub, paying no mind to Stacy. Stacy, in turn, sprinted toward her son Timmy. Uncertain whether the bear was pursuing her, she pressed on without hesitation. Upon reaching Timmy's side, she surveyed the scene. In the distance, she spotted the mother bear disappearing into the forest with her cub. Stacy breathed a sigh of relief and embraced her son tightly. She lifted Timmy, and together they made their way to the main building. It appeared that everyone was unharmed, albeit deeply shaken by the extraordinary ordeal. As they journeyed back, Stacy couldn't help but feel immense relief at the fortunate outcome of their adventure.